Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about some of the cool features within Leonardo. There have been some quick updates, but I wanted to just go through them very quickly so you guys can know what to expect. Here I have a prompt. It's in Dreamshaper 7, and basically it's the Knights of the Round Table. It looks cool. I had initially put out 4 of these, and as you can see, they're pretty well detailed, well lit. This looks like something that could definitely be, in a high-end, like if you're doing one of those dramatic animated films. Guy actually looks a bit like Ryan Gosling, but I won't go into that. Yeah, the eyes on this one are not that great, but anyway, just wanted to give you a demonstration. Now, as you can see, we're in Alchemy, so we have V3 prompt magic on, and we're at 0.55. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at a few different features that can really kind of enhance your alchemy outputs. So first of all, we have the high resolution. Now this toggles between 1.5 and 2x. So 1.5x, this is where it is right now. As you can see down here, hold on a second, oops. Yeah, you can see right here that these are the input dimensions that are for Leonardo Alchemy, and 512, 768 is the default, and then the final resolution is going to come out to be 768 and 1152, which is approximately 1.5 times that number. Now, if we were to put in the high resolution, it will automatically warn us that, you can have a lot of noise, you can have a lot of incoherence, so let's go ahead and leave it on. And we see now that it comes out to 2x, so the final resolution is going to be double what you put in. So I want to bring your attention to this little toggle right here. This will allow you to quickly switch width and height numbers. So in this case, if I wanted to switch to a width of 768, it would change that, and it would also change up here in the input dimensions. And then once Alchemy, the high resolution's on, you have the 1536 to 1024, which is exactly twice what you have here. Now, it did warn you, of course, that it will come out. It would have more noise and would be more that it would be more unpredictable, and I'm fine with that. So let's go ahead and see what we can come up with. Once we've got, let's see, magic, I'm going to put it up in 2. You'll also notice here that while I have everything on, I have 2 images that I'm going to be generating, and they're going to cost me 20 tokens. So whenever you're doing anything with Alchemy, you want to make sure that you are aware of how many tokens that will cost you. Okay, let's go ahead and generate. See, we have here more of a landscape. Okay, so something to be aware of also, since we have all of this stuff going on right here, the rendering time will be a little bit extended, and of course that's depending. And of course, if you're on the free, whether you're on free and paid, it's going to be longer. But either way, just be mindful of that whenever you're trying to generate something. Let's take a look at this. Oh my gosh, it's actually pretty good. Yeah, there's nothing too crazy about what I'm seeing here as far as any initial noise. So one thing that Leonardo has a tendency to do is it has a tendency to kind of duplicate the faces. So if I had something like this, I would definitely just go ahead and go to Canvas and play around and generate new faces on this one. And I'll actually go into just another feature that I want to show you in Canvas later on in this video. But so far, we're looking at some really amazing images in Dreamshaper 7. Now, the next feature I want to take a look at is the contrast. Now, this will adjust the lighting. The lighting of your image or your subject matter, whatever it is, and you can see here that it actually toggles down in quarter points. So right now we're at 0.5. We want to go down here, it's going to go to 0.25. If we want to go up here, it's going to go to 0.75, and it's going to go to 1. So 1 will make your image darker. So let's take a look at that. All right, so now we see what 1 looks like. Let's take a look at what 0.25 looks like. Yeah, so when we take a look at these pictures, this one is rendered at 0.25 contrast, while this one is at 1 contrast. While the top one looks a little, it may look darker in some places, what you'll notice is that the light in this one is a lot more pronounced. You can definitely see, I'd say, the delineation of the rays, if that's a term, in this one. Whereas this one, it's a bit more diffused. And it's a little bit hazy in the background, so I can see where the contrast boost would definitely be useful for somebody who's looking for a little bit more definition in their, or a little more or a little less definition in their renders. Now let's take a look at the resonance. The resonance in this case, when it comes to Alchemy, the recommendation is between 13 and 15. As you can see here, so the scale dictates that around 13 to 15 is a good balance. So all of these images are actually that range, actually in the 15 range. But what if we were to drop it down to 8? Anything as far as rendering, I kind of like to keep it lower, and I'm just used to that. So if I were to go ahead and drop it down to an 8, let's take a look and see what happens. Because the idea is that if you're outside of that optimal range, you're more prone to mutation. So let's see if that plays out. I mean, it looks really good. But what I'm also seeing is that there is a bit of fuzziness around it. I don't know if that's the correct term, but it does not really look as well defined. At least this one is, I mean, like I said, they look really good, but I don't see the definition as well, especially when I'm looking at this one. This is the Resonance 15 image. Not only is the light more defined in the Resonance 15, but really and truly, to my eye, the hair looks a little more, you can see the strands a little bit better than this one. It just, the strands look a little bit, they look like patted down. It just looks like they're well in place. It just looks kind of there. I guess that's the term. But with this one, you can definitely see the strands of hair. You can see more details in the hair and especially in the light. So that's the difference between Resonance 15 and Resonance 8. Now, let me try Resonance 27. I want to see, actually, I've been very safe when it comes to resonance, and I followed the directions as far as keeping between 13 and 15. So I want to see what happens when I up this to like Resonance 23. Let's push it to 25. I believe the highest here is radius. So keep it, let's go for 26. Live dangerously, as they say. All right, so let's go ahead and generate this at Resonance 27. Whoa, hey. Let me take a look at this detailed. Wow, the high, I mean, at 26 or 27, whatever I left it at, it looks pretty good, except I do see, oh yeah, okay, I can see the anomalies really popping up here. And it's more than just a Leonardo thing. This guy has, I think, like 6 This one had 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 8 fingers. So the digits are definitely out of control on here. And at this one, the hands are double. So I can see it, but still the definition of the face is very crisp, despite the anomalies. For this one, what I'm very impressed by, and this one I don't really see it off the top, the hands look pretty good. Maybe this one might be a little bit off a little bit. I think it looks like it might have an extra digit up here. But still, what I like about this is that the detail in the background, that wall is you can see the brick detail a little bit. I like that. It gives the picture a little bit more character. But I can see for this particular fine-tuned model, it does have a little bit more, more of a tendency to have an anomaly. As far as the digits are concerned, the fingers, I don't see anything else really obvious. So I guess it depends on what model you're using, obviously, and how intricate you want it to be. But you can play around with the resonance and see if it comes up with anything really out of the ordinary. I find the higher resonance just really crisp. And of course, if for something like this with the hands, I can easily go into Canvas and work with that. Thanks so much for your time. If you could like this video if you find it useful, it'll help me to figure out what kind of content you want to see. And then there's the YouTube algorithm thing. Yep, we all know how that goes, so thanks for your time, and let's get back. And then finally, let's talk about raw mode. Raw mode is about controlling your image. When we have longer prompts like this, it is not unusual for Leonardo to get kind of confused and kind of get this wandering, weird render. The generation, especially when it comes to alchemy, you need to put the most important element of what you're trying to generate first. It takes that into consideration down the line. The longer the prompt, the harder it is for it to kind of follow it sometimes. And that's why in certain cases, I recommend that if you have a long prompt and getting results that you're not happy with, just erase the prompt and start from basics and go back. So, but if you want, and then work back from up there. But if you actually want to control this long prompt a little bit more, then you put in raw mode. For the most part, I've not really used it too much because I've pretty much decided that if I'm having problems with my prompt, sometimes my prompts are longer than this, that if I'm having problems with my prompt, all I need is basically scale the idea down and then start over again. But in this case, raw mode will help you to kind of get the idea of your longer prompts more better visualized on Leonardo. So let's go ahead and take a look and see, if this raw mode would actually prompt. So far, we've had pretty good renderings. I've put everything back to, when by everything, I mean the resonance back to 15. The contrast boost, I think I'll keep that at 0.5, not a problem. And of course, my prompt magic is at 0.55. Everything else is back to the same. And now we're going to go ahead and generate using raw mode. Oh, this is actually very stunning. I am seeing a level of detail here that is unbelievable. First of all, this guy back here, this gentleman back here, his visage is really well detailed. The clarity of the character here is absolutely stunning. And same thing with her. It's like she and he are both the objects, and these two here are their background players, so to speak. I don't see any anomalies in the hand because I put the resonance back where it was supposed to be. But I love the detail of their armor and of the chainmail underneath. So let's take a look at the next one. Oh, wow. Yes. This is an absolute stunning picture. Love the details of the hair. And you can tell these guys right here, the ones that are focal points, these guys are a bit blurry because they're in the background. And you can tell, oh my gosh, and I love to play with the shadows here. So raw mode will definitely, if you have a longer prompt, that's when you use raw mode in Alchemy. But it is an absolutely, I love the shininess of the. I mean, I'm totally impressed with raw mode. I probably should invest in that old best level of detail. And I love, yes, I think raw mode, like I said, if you have a longer prompt, will definitely help. And I'm loving the results when I use it. Okay, I'm pretty happy with it for sure. So, I mean, I don't see any reason why I need to actually change anything on here. But yeah, it looks really, really good. Now we're going to go into the special edit feature in Canvas that when you see it, you'll understand exactly why I'm so excited about it. I'll see you guys in Canvas. Now, taking one of the rendered images into Edit Canvas, I want to show you guys something very. Okay, take a look at this feature here. It's new. It's called a render density. What this does is that it actually makes the box a lot smaller. Before we used to have the boxes could only go 512 by 512. And if you needed to do something very small, you had that huge box dealing with something very small, and it was actually not just dealing with something very small, but it was also creating a lot space than it needs. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna want to change this part right here. So I just put the box over here, and if I move density a little bit, you'll take a look. Say you have take up 3.5 times, so take 1.5 times, and it got smaller. Take it 2.5 times, and it gets smaller than that. Take it 3 times, 4 times. You see, now you're able to just focus efforts on one small area instead of having Leonardo's canvas incorporate or try to alter that small space while try to keep the rest of the small space going as well. So it's such a time saver. But in this case, I'm just going to need, I think the 3x should do it. Perfect. So now I'm able to go over here and this. Save the jeweled water. Okay, in this case, I want to make a chalice. Make it a little bit bigger. Okay. From mask a little bit higher. Make it wider. It's going to be something, I'm hoping it will be something big. Brass water jug. Here, let's see what happens here. In another video, I go over all the different, oh, that looks actually pretty nice. I go over all the different modes that you can have, any kind of in-paint, out-paint, sketching and all that stuff. I'll put the link up here for you to take a look. But let's take a look at the options here. Well, that looks actually pretty good. That looks nice. Oh, that looks a little bit too modern. It's a little bit too high brass, but I think if anything, this is pretty good. I'll accept that. But again, the whole point here is that you now have the ability to make your space that much smaller so you can focus your edit in Canvas on something as intricate as maybe a hand, as changing the hands of a character, or changing the face or the visage, other the visage points of the character. So I just wanted to show you guys that little bit. So now that you have an idea of some of the other stuff that's going on as far as alchemy, the sliders, end this, you can go ahead and have a lot more fun with it. And I'll see you in the next video.